These are all of the HSW vehicles ranked from worst to best. We're gonna have a lot of vehicles on this list. All of them are pretty much dominant in their class, at least most of them I would say. Like the video if you go on to enjoy, and subscribe if you're new for more awesome videos like these that you don't want to miss. Anyway, let's get started. What I consider the worst HSW vehicle is something like the Brioso RA. You never really see anyone using this HSW vehicle. I mean, the only time I've ever seen this car used in general is in very specific types of races, so otherwise you would never really have any reason to buy this car besides the fact that it's pretty quick, especially for a tiny rally car. So it's good for like sumo or something like that. You could definitely have a lot of really good fun with this one, but besides that, it's not the greatest, the fastest, or best handling ever. The ISI Rally is another HSW vehicle that's going to be ranked 24th on this list, technically 23rd because we're going to have two vehicles in one spot, and you'll see why a little bit later. No real complaints with the ISI Rally. I mean, it looks cool. It's got some decent customization. I really like the liveries in particular, but compared to the crazy competition in the HSW subclass, I just don't think it's as good. It's not the fastest. The acceleration clearly isn't that great, and that's really why I'm putting it in the second lowest spot on this list. Then we have the Arbiter GT, which is a pretty cool supercar, but honestly, it doesn't have the greatest handling. It does slide a lot. If you're looking for more of a drifty car, this is definitely one of the best drifting muscle cars out there, but I'm not the biggest fan of the look of this car, both from the front of it and the back of it. It's not anything too special. Who knows, it might be your taste, but honestly, I'm just not a huge fan. The Firebolt ASP is one of my favorite off-roaders in the entire game, one of the most recently released HSW upgradable vehicles. There isn't anything necessarily bad. Those extra large mirrors are actually like from an animated movie or something like that. It looks a little bit awkward, kind of like from a cartoon or something. Besides that tiny thing, there really isn't anything bad about this vehicle. I mean, it's really good performing for an off-roader, great handling, overall really easy to use, but because there's such good performing vehicles that are just a bit better than this one, this is why it's relatively low on the list. But the Firebolt ASP, definitely recommend it. The Sentinel XS, fun fact, is actually the only HSW vehicle in the entire game that you can actually get it up to HSW for absolutely free. I actually made a video on how to do this. I'll make sure to link it at the end of this one. It's the only vehicle you could just save in your garage right off the street, and then you could get a free HSW upgrade after completing How's Time Trial on one vehicle. Extremely rare to see something like this, so if you're looking to get an HSW upgraded car for completely free with that free upgrade that you can use on this thing, this is the only one that you could do it with. That's a huge plus you don't get with any other vehicle, so highly recommend the Sentinel. Up next is going to be the Banshee. I mean, this one is just the Banshee. Like, it's okay. It's been in the game forever. It doesn't really have the greatest top speed or the greatest handling when it comes to this subclass. Therefore, I'm gonna stick it relatively low on the list, somewhere in the middle though. So, I mean, nothing too special about this one. It's just the Banshee we've all known with a little enhanced upgrades. That's it. So, really nothing too crazy with it. That NPC really just hopped in there like that. I really like the Sterling GT for so many reasons. For one thing, it's got one of the best engine sounds in the entire game. It's super loud. It sounds super satisfying. On top of that, in recent years, it actually got extra customization in a DLC. Rockstar just gave it more customization, so it's even cooler now. Some great liveries, some pretty cool exhaust. I overall really like this pretty tiny sports classic. And with an HSW upgrade, this thing actually goes extremely fast once you get some speed and you don't crash like me because I'm a bad driver. The Euros X32 is a pretty cool 2000s looking vehicle, but I never find myself wanting to really drive a coupe in GTA Online, let alone doing a coupe's race. But if you happen to be doing a coupe's race for whatever reason, this would probably be the best in the class. It could actually catch some good speed. It does drift a little bit, but it's decently fun to drive. Some people would like the more retro and old school look it's got to it. Some people aren't. It's a matter of what taste you have, really. Pretty freaking expensive though for a coupe. I mean, $1.5 million to buy it in the first place, plus a $1.2 million upgrade for HSW. After all of the upgrades, you're going to be spending more or less $3 million on a coupe, which is, I mean, relative to a coupe is crazy. Believe it or not, the Soccermon van also has some HSW upgrades in GTA Online, and it actually makes this Viva Knight one of the best, if not the best performing SUV in the entire game with those upgrades. I was pleasantly surprised with this van just because the handling is pretty decent. The acceleration and top speed are really good, especially for the class, and the customization of this thing is honestly one of the best I've seen on any vehicle, any non-Benny's vehicle, I'll say. So surprisingly really good vehicle. Definitely Definitely not the best of the best in HSW, but a lot of really impressive things about this one that could catch you by surprise. The Turismo Classic, one of my favorite sports classics vehicles in the entire game. Absolutely iconic, and for a sports classic, it's actually extremely fast with the HSW upgrade put on it. Now, this is the car you use to actually complete House Time Trial to unlock HSW in the first place. You really can't compare it to the top tier of HSW, but for its class, it's actually really fast and overall one of the best performing sports classics in the game, if not the best. Then we have the Astron Custom, one of the nicer looking SUVs in the entire game. Definitely a lot better looking than, let's say, the Viva Knight. I really like the look of Porsches, and this is one of the best and most realistic looking Porsches in the whole game. One of the fastest overall SUVs in the entire game, and it's got a decent HSW price tag, of course, compared to other HSW vehicles. About a $1.7 million buy it now price, plus a $400,000 HSW upgrade. You can probably get a fully upgraded one with all of the different modifications for under $2.5 million. In this video standards, that's actually pretty affordable. The Buffalo EVX, an electric muscle car. You really don't see anything like this every day. It has some crazy liveries, overall really good customization. There are a couple of other muscle cars that are just a bit faster and a bit better overall than the Buffalo EVX, but definitely a decent option still. The Panad La Cruz is one of the grippiest cars in this entire game. The traction with this thing is honestly extremely impressive. Going around that pretty sharp turn, literally no issues whatsoever. I didn't even have to slow down or anything. Usually we would have to slow down before this turn, but I'm just gonna make a crazy turn like this, a 180-degree turn with absolutely no issues, not even slowing down or anything. So that's a good representation of how ridiculously good the traction on this one is. It's almost unrealistic how good the traction on this thing is. It kind of feels like the RC Bandito, just in a regular car version. Hopefully you know what I mean when the RC Bandito is very grippy to the road, and you could literally go from side to side without spinning out most of the time. Acceleration and traction are the highlights of the La Cruz. Top speed is a little bit on the lower side, but you kind of have to expect it with an electric car like this one. The Entity MT is one of the better looking supercars in the entire game, and with the HSW upgrade, it made it somewhat useful, but it's definitely not the best option for a supercar with HSW. There's definitely some better ones. It's a good supercar, but honestly, it's just not one of my absolute favorites in the class. If you have extra money, get this thing, but it definitely wouldn't be my number one option for getting an HSW. Since it is an HSW supercar, you can probably imagine this thing is going to be freaking expensive. So about $2.4 million for a buy it now, plus about $850,000 for the HSW upgrade. So the HSW upgrade is cheap, but I mean, you're spending like $2.5 mil buying it in the first place. With all the upgrades and everything, it's probably going to be around the mid 3 millions when upgrading this thing. So very expensive, a bit overpriced if you ask me. The Monstrosity might be one of the best off-roaders, if not the best off-roader in the entire game. It's got some great speed, easy to handle, and some really good climbing ability when going over big hills or big mountains. If you're going up Mount Chiliad, the Monstrosity is one of the best options out there, and it's a relatively small, or I'll say short vehicle. I mean, it's only a two-door, and the back of it is also pretty slim. You could do a couple of invisible parts glitches with it, like the back windows. As you can see, I literally have no windows right there, and the floating logo on what's meant to be a spare wheel on the back, but it's literally floating because I have no spare wheel. About a $1.5 million price tag plus $1.1 million with that HSW upgrade. That's a pretty expensive one. Not nearly as expensive as some other vehicles though, so let's move on to the next one. A bit of a better supercar than the Entity MT is definitely the Devis D8. I mean, without HSW, before it was even introduced into the game, this car was considered one of the best out there in the class. So you can probably imagine after Rockstar added the HSW upgrade to it, it's going to be even crazier. So definitely recommend this one over the Entity MT. It does of course come at a crazy price though, as with almost every HSW vehicle. $1.8 million for the buy it now, plus another $1.1 million for the HSW upgrade. Fully upgrading one of these things is going to come out to be a tiny bit cheaper than the Entity MT if you get a fully upgraded HSW Entity MT. And so that's even more of a reason to get this one instead of the Entity MT. So great supercar, very unique looking of course, let's move on to the next one. The Karin S95 is one of the first vehicles that got HSW when it got added with the expanded and enhanced version of GTA, and to this day it has an amazing top speed, really easy to drive around. I probably should have showcased the vehicles in this menu the whole time instead of just going through each one of them. And $2 million price tag for the buy it now of the S95, plus another $525,000 for the HSW upgrade. The Vaggero ZX is one of the biggest fan favorite muscle cars in the entire game, maybe along with the Buffalo STX. Looks wise, I think this looks a little bit better than the Buffalo STX, and with the HSW upgrade, this makes the performance of this thing absolutely ridiculous for the class. Speeding up with it, you could definitely get to a ridiculous top speed with this thing. It's also relatively drifty as well, and for a reason, this is one of the most popular muscle cars in the entire game, with or without HSW. But compared to a lot of other HSW vehicles, it's actually not extremely expensive if you want to get a fully upgraded one. $1.95 million to buy it now, and then another $550,000 for the HSW upgrade. With all of the upgrades bought, you're going to be spending just under $3 million, which is actually pretty decent for such a popular vehicle with such a popular upgrade. So $550K for an HSW upgrade is actually relatively cheap. I definitely wouldn't say it's underpriced, but it definitely could have been way worse knowing Rockstar and the prices of vehicles in this game. The Hakiii GTO Stinger TT holds one of the fastest top speeds amongst all land vehicles in the entire game. The top speed is actually ridiculously fast, but it's one of those pretty uncontrollable vehicles. It slides quite a lot, so when you get to that top speed, if you try to turn with it, chances are you're gonna go flying, you're gonna crash into stuff because it gets really uncontrollable once you get to those like 150 or 160 plus miles per hour. This thing actually can get to that speed. The Cyclone II holds one of the most ridiculous, if not the most ridiculous accelerations in the entire game. You can go to 0 to 60 like crazy fast, probably 0 to 100 like incredibly fast as well. So the acceleration is definitely the highlight with this one. You can probably guess it is in fact an electric car, and it's basically a big brother version of the regular Cyclone that we got on the old gen consoles and the old gen version of GTA Online. The Weaponized Ignis is extremely unique because it's actually a weaponized HSW vehicle with that insane machine gun on the top of it. I actually like to call it a tank because it's extremely powerful. It could blow up any unarmored vehicle within just a few seconds. It's a huge plus with this one that you don't really get with any other HSW vehicle, so highly recommend getting the Weaponized Ignis. It's an absolute must, and for a good reason. It's in the top 5 best HSW vehicles. Of course, I had to mention the smallest HSW vehicle, the Hakuch drag motorcycle. To this day, this is my go-to vehicle for HSW time trials. It's just so easy with such a fast motorcycle like this one. At the time of this recording, it holds the second fastest top speed amongst all land vehicles in the entire game. The two neck-and-neck vehicles at the top are the Naobi. So first off, we have the Naobi. It's got some amazing traction, much better traction than the following one we're gonna have after this one. Great top speed, amazing looks. It's been a fan favorite ever since it came out last year. There's literally not one thing I can complain about with this car. It's actually the definition of a perfect car. Finally, we have the Banshee GTS holding the fastest top speed amongst all land vehicles in the entire game. The most recently released car on this list as well is actually considered the best, and it's pretty much the successor of the regular Banshee. So the Banshee GTS, best top speed in the game, but a little more drifty than the Naobi. So in terms of handling, the Naobi is a little better. When it comes to top speed, the Banshee GTS is a little bit better. And so these two cars are, in my opinion, just neck and neck for the best HSW vehicle out there. It's really up to personal preference. If you want that extra top speed, go for it. If you prefer a little bit better handling, go for it as well. Considering the top speed is ridiculously fast, the fastest in the game, the handling really isn't too bad though with the GTS. I really hope you all went on to enjoy this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, join the Hakiii army. Now keep on watching and click the video on the screen right now. I hope you all enjoy that one, and peace.